Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Carla. I am the Stitchy Witch, and as you can see I've got a very different setup to what I normally have when I do my end of month progress updates. So what I've got here today is me trying to attempt to put all my stuff together to be able to record some either Stitch with Me's or to record some live streams. And I've been thinking about how to do it and where to do it, because I used to do it when I lived in a different apartment, and I sort of knew how the setup was and how it was going to be. Now I've got different location and different kind of room setup. It's a bit more of a challenge to put it all together. So this is really just a test to see if it all works okay, that the sound is coming out and everything else. And if it is kind of working okay, I might upload this recording for you just to watch. I might even do a little bit of stitching here just to see how easy it is for me to do a bit of stitching in the corner of my room. So now that I've got everything set up, I think I should be able to do some live streams. So if that is something you'd like to see as well, please let me know. I did have a few requests, or I've had requests, and I don't think I've done live streams for at least a year, possibly a little bit longer. So yeah, it might be nice to get back in touch with you and chat to you on a live basis. So what I've got here is my battle. This is the HAED Sal 2026. I'm working this one 2/1/10, and it's on 25 count even weave. I will have to wear my glasses because I won't be able to do any stitching otherwise. I have been suffering the last few days, so my nose is itchy and my face is itchy. I have been suffering from hay fever-like symptoms, but for me it's more sinus allergy stuff. Did my nose just go really red then? Oh gosh. I tried to look so presentable for this. It all just goes wrong. So I've had lots of sneezing and runny eyes and itchy nose and all the rest of it. Some of you might also get these symptoms, and it's very, very frustrating. And every time I've wanted to sit down and do this, I've had to postpone it because of my itchy nose, itchy eyes. And yeah, I do take stuff for it and it does help, but it doesn't get rid of it, obviously. But, you know, it just is so random. You never know what day. I live in the middle of a city, so there's not a lot of, well, there is quite a bit of, there are a few fields around and some nice parks, but I don't live in the middle of the country, so all I can say is thank goodness, because I don't think I'd be able to breathe. But pollutants are everywhere, so it could be anything. But anyway, I started off feeling okay when I set up here, so let's hope that I don't get too many itches on my nose and I can continue. So I'm going to have a go at trying to stitch and chat to you at the same time with all this paraphernalia around me. I don't want to knock the lights. I don't want to knock my tablet, which I've got here. I've got my microphone standing there. So this is the best I can do at this moment. I'm sure that it can probably be improved at some point, but for now, I think I'm going with this. I've got my, oops. Did I just see a cat hair go down there? I've got my Lowry stand holding onto a hoop, and for the time being I think that will suffice. I think I've just seen a cat hair going down. I've just got rid of it there. Little fluff balls trying to sabotage my stitches. That just distracted me there. So it's looking okay. As long as I don't do any like big leaps in the air or anything, things should remain stable and nothing should go flying around, hopefully. So as long as I can stitch and chat and everything's running smoothly, then it's all go. So I did my big update, I think it was on 25th of March, I think it was, and I showed you guys all the progress that I'd made on well, full coverage whips, because I don't really do anything else. So all the progress that I did on my full coverage whips. And since then, I've had a little bit of an accident. Well, I wouldn't really call it an accident. It's more of a disappointing discovery, let's say. And I was thinking, I'm going to have to wait until the next month, the end of this month, April, to tell you what it is, which is going to be super annoying because it's a whole month away until I do my progress, my monthly progress. So I thought, well, if I try this setup now and do a bit of a stitch with me, I can tell you what happened. So yesterday, I took out one of my projects, and it's called Castle by Eda Jose Rosa, and it's a Stitch Is So Beautiful piece, and I absolutely love it. And I had started that one on the left side, so it's fairly big. It's not huge, but it's fairly big. I had started that one on the left hand side of the piece, like in the top left corner, and then I'd done maybe like 5 rows across. Then I'd counted from that last box that I did, or 10 by 10 square, I'd counted maybe 12 boxes, 12 squares to the middle, and I started working in the middle. No, I didn't do all this yesterday. This has been all previous work. And then I did a little bit of work on the top right. So I had some of stitching on the top left, some stitching in the middle where the spire was of the castle, and some stitching on the right hand side. So there's 2 big gaps in between, on either side of the middle of the castle. Now, I counted so many times when I was trying to, do this, and I'd counted it and I'd counted it, and so many times it's unreal. But yesterday, for some reason, I had counted it. I thought, I'm going to work along the top row, and I'm going to, fill in all the gaps along the top, all the boxes that I've left blank, and I'm going to meet up the left corner and the middle together. Well, I should have not bothered even bringing it out of my project bag. I should have gone outside and gone for a long walk, because when I started stitching, I counted and I thought, I must only have about 10 squares to do before I get to the middle part that I've already done a section. And do you know what? I have miscounted, and I'm out by a whole row, a whole column. I'm out by a whole column. So on my pattern keeper, it says there are 10 boxes across to hit where I'd previously worked, and on my canvas I have 11 squares across to hit the where I'd already stitched. And oh my goodness, so you know what that means, because I have quite a substantial bit done in the middle of that. The very top of the castle, I've got the whole spire done at the top, and I am not frogging the left side because there's even more done on that. And I looked at how many stitches I've done overall, and I have done 9,000 stitches on that project. So I was completely gutted last night. And I said to my husband, so let's look at this realistically. There's really only 3 options here now. One of them is to UFO it completely and just, cut your losses, because I can't continue on it, obviously, if it's so messed up. The other option is to frog a section, mainly the middle part, which has the least amount, and then end the problem. But you know what it's like, frogging 25 count is just practically impossible. The other one is to start again and just get another piece of fabric. But that's 9,000 stitches that I've already put in. I keep thinking of that number, and my head just screams no. But I so love it. But the thing is, I've tried to stitch this chart twice now, so I don't know if it's an omen, because I started it on, might have been 28 count, and I didn't like it. Then I restarted it a few months later. I hadn't got much in. I restarted it a few months later on 32 count, and I couldn't continue with that. Finally settled on my usual 25, and that was fine for me. And then this happened. So I'm thinking, am I just not meant to be doing this chart? Is this just like an omen to say, this chart is not for you, just go and do something else? I don't know. So my husband, as kind as he is, has offered to frog the middle section for me, but he tried to do a little bit of it this evening, and he said it's really difficult because, you know, we got the little stitch ripper thing, and it just all fluffs up. The little stitches all fluff up when you try to get them out. So it's going to take him ages. So it's kind of in limbo. I've kind of just left it aside for the moment because it's not like I haven't got much to be getting on with anyway. And if he can successfully frog the middle section, I don't expect it done anytime soon. I mean, he's willing to just pick it up every now and then and take a few stitches out, and then whenever it's done, it's done, I can continue. But there's no rush at all. So I'm quite happy to wait, obviously. I just feel disappointed because I can't understand how, when you can count things so many times, that you can still have that problem of you come to do it and you think to yourself, do you know what, I'm just going to count again for the 200th time just to make sure. And no, you've made a mistake. Well, I'm glad I found out now, to be honest, than, 50,000 stitches in, because I would cry. I really think I would cry. So tell me if anything like that has ever happened to you, and how did you deal with it? I know a lot of people just go and restart, which makes sense. I'm sure it must be just as frustrating when you go to stitch and you count across and you realise that you haven't cut the fabric to the right measurement and that you're going way off the end, or you've only got you've only got one square left at the very end before you're at the end of the piece. Yeah, that's happened. I think a lot of people have gotten caught out with that. Even I've gotten caught out with just leaving myself 1 inch at the end instead of, the minimum 3 or something, which they tell you to leave. And so that's the disappointment. But I tried to turn the negative into a positive. I enjoyed the stitching that I did actually do on it, and there's always going to be a solution somewhere. So even if the worst comes to the worst and I don't start it again, I enjoyed what I did, and I'm not going to cry about it. That's life. Things come, things go. I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to fix it, and I'll be able to continue at some point down the line. Right, I've got to stop talking just to count how many stitches I've done here, because now I'm remembering every time I used to do a live, I used to just go stitching all over the place without counting, and then I'd have to frog everything I did during my live stream. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, because I'm not in the mood. I'm just not in the mood for frogging. To be honest, I'm just not. This section here is going to require a bit of counting, and I'm not sure that I'm up for that while I'm chatting to you guys. Okay. Can I also just here for a second give a little shout out to my friend Nadia from Dark Cross Stitch. I sometimes chat to Nadia on DMs or private messages, and we just check in with each other every so often. And she's been doing some streaming herself, and she's kind of enabled me, which is why I'm trying out my new setup. And yes, I just want to say thanks, Nadia, for enabling me to do this, because it is fun, and I wish I hadn't stopped. But you know what it's like. Life catches up with you. Go and check out Nadia's channel. She is Dark Cross Stitch. That's Dark X Stitch. And she's working on a Lord of the Rings chart. It's pretty big. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, she said she was more or less monogamous with that at the moment. So, yeah. I think that's actually brilliant. To be able to be monogamous after, years of just swapping things around is pretty impressive. Because I've tried to be monogamous, but I think I can only manage it for about 3 or 4 days, or maybe a week. And then I start hearing the other ones calling me. And yeah, monogamy out the window. So yeah, that's really all that's happened. Nothing much has been happening since my last video update. I've worked on, what's it called now? I always get this name wrong. It's called Perfect Wisdom. It's a heaven and earth size chart. It's a story keep, and it's a lovely owl sitting on like a tree trunk or something. I've got a few stitches into him because I haven't picked him up for ages, and I actually just for the first time today actually felt like stitching on him. But Perfect Wisdom, he has only got 39,000 stitches left to a finish, guys, to a finish. And my brain keeps saying to me, why are you not trying to finish him in this year? At least you'd get a finish this year if you did that, because I think I calculated that I'd have to do about 130 stitches a day to finish him. And that's not including, I'm going to be cropping off a little bottom part of that, because that trunk that owl is standing on is pretty big. So I might crop a little chunk off the bottom. And so you could take off, I don't know, about 5,000 stitches or so. So even less I have to do to get a finish. So why am I not doing it? I don't know. I just don't know where my head is, to be honest. And a small part of me wants to start things too, which I keep trying to say no. Concentrate on what you've got for now and stop getting distracted. But we know what it's like. It's not easy. Not easy at all. So anyway, this isn't actually as difficult as I was anticipating. I'm sure there could be improvements, but for a first trial, I don't think this is too bad. I think it's come together quite okay. It does take a little bit of getting used to. Which stitch am I on now? 1, 2, 3. Right down. Okay. Oof, there's a lot of confetti here, but it's only like 3 colours, so it's just like 3 colours all like spread around everywhere, and no 2 colours are next to each other, which is, yeah, it's one of those. So if you want to know some stats on this one, I'm at, let me see, 28.27%, and I've done a total of 25,130 stitches out of 88,900. So this is the stitch along. And I'm not sure if I'm going to try and get a finish on this by the end of the year. I think I might try just hit those 6 pages, and not specifically to get all the charts, because I'm not particularly worried about any of the other charts, but I do think it would be nice to get the 6 pages, because that to me is kind of like a marker to say, you know, I've participated in the stitch along. I've done the, you know, the initial request of doing a certain amount of pages, even if it doesn't happen to be a finish. It doesn't have to be a finish, although it would be nice because it would be a finish. But I'm now wondering if I could just, you know, maybe concentrate a bit more on the owl, since he's got so many fewer stitches. Yeah, I'll have to have a little think about that. I'm sure it's difficult for people to pick a focus piece when you've got so many that you want to actually be working on. I think it's difficult anyway. Because sometimes, even though you think you should work on a certain piece because it's got the least amount of stitches, you may be not really drawn to it at that particular time. So then it becomes a little bit like, I don't know, for me it does become a bit tedious when I try to force myself to focus on something I'm not really enjoying. But funnily enough, I am quite enjoying this, although it is a little bit crazy. On the ship part itself here, it is a little bit crazy stitching. I don't know, it just took me so long to get these sails done. But now when we're over onto the sky, it is much, much easier. I think I've just gone down the wrong hole. Come back up, come back up. Oh no, we have a knot. Oh dear. I was hoping this wouldn't happen on my first stream. or my first stitch with me, but hey, why wouldn't it? Of course, why would it not happen? That's why it's called a test, isn't it? Now, which way am I going to get this out? Okay, folks, this is getting worse and worse. You've seen it here. You've seen how stitching can be a bit of a nightmare. I think I can actually pull that one back out. I'm just a bit scared to do it live in case everything goes tumbling to, oh sorry, I'm not live, on my stitch with me, in case everything goes tumbling to the ground. No, that's it. Catastrophe averted. Okay, let's get this back on to the needle. I can't even see how to. Yay, okay. Now, which stitch was it that went terribly wrong? Okay, that one there. I can see my canvas, but I can't see what you're seeing on the screen, so I'm trusting that you can actually see my stitching. Okay, I'm just going to finish this row, and yeah, it's going to be a short one because, as I said, it's only going to be a little trial just to see how my setup is going to work for future recordings. If I'm brave enough to come back and do a live, I will do. But before I go, 2, 3 down. I think I made a mistake there. Okay. Let's just park it there for a moment. Before I go, I do want to say, for those of you who celebrate, I wish you a really happy Easter. Don't eat too many chocolate Easter eggs. We've got a few of them here, and I'm just trying to appreciate them visually rather than attack them. And if you don't celebrate Easter, I hope you have a lovely holiday and just enjoy it with your family or whatever it is you're doing. So I'm going to call this little test a success, and hopefully it has recorded, and if this has actually recorded, I will upload it ASAP. So enjoy the rest of your weekend and Easter Monday, and enjoy the rest of your week, guys. I hope to see you soon. I shall post up a notification about when I plan to go live, all being well. And I hope some of you will join me and chat to me when I do. I'd love to know what you're stitching on, so stitch along with me. And I think it'd be nicer for me to also get the feedback, the instant chat sort of feedback, rather than sit here talking to myself. So take care, folks. Thank you for stopping by and watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.